Hello everyone, welcome back to Chinmoyee's biology channel. So today we are here with a brand new episode of Human Eye. It is as per CBSE or NCERT curriculum, so I'll follow your book only, and as per that I'll be teaching that. So please stay tuned throughout the full episode. Don't skip in between because we are going to study the structure of the eye, the process or the functioning of how vision is happening, and we will also study about the power of accommodation and all. So let's get started without further delay. So, this is your 10th chapter and it is a part of your biology section, right? So, in the previous chapter, you have already studied about the lenses. So, you have an idea how the working principle of lens is happening, how the image formation is done. So, this all we know. So, now from that knowledge only, we will stress that, or we will try to use that lens thing in our eye. So let us start with this human eye. Okay, so what is human eye? Human eye is one of the most valuable and sensitive organs in our body. What is it helping us to do? We know that we are seeing the wonderful world and the colors around us with the help of this eye only. So on closing the eyes, we can identify the objects to some extent by their smell, taste, sound as they make, or by touch. And it is, however, impossible to identify the colors while closing the eyes. So once you are closing your eyes, it is impossible for you to identify the colors of the object. Now, something you can smell, or something you can identify the objects by touching, but without eyes, we can't make out everything. So of all the sense organs, the human eye is the most significant one. So of all the sense organs, we can tell that it is the most significant one, and it enables us to see beautiful, colorful world around us. So that's what I was telling, that you should have the idea of that lens, because our human eye is acting as a camera. So it is seeing the pictures, taking the images are formed inside the eye, and that's what we are perceiving or we are viewing. So how is it working? So let's see the working principle of eye. So its lens system forms an image on a light sensitive part called retina. So where is the image formed? The image is formed in the light sensitive screen, which is called the retina. So light is entering the eye through which place? Light is entering the eye through a thin membrane, which is called the cornea. So here you see this diagram first. Here you can see this thin membrane is the cornea. Through this only first the light enters the eye. Okay, it forms a transparent bulge in the front of the eyeball. So you can see it is forming a blue color ball shaped transparent membrane bulge. It is forming a bulge like structure in front of the eye. So the eyeball is approximately spherical in shape with a diameter of about 2.3 centimeters. So this is an approximate 2.3 centimeter will be the approximate diameter of the eye. So it will be looking like this, and this is the part through which the light enters first, cornea. So this is the bulging part. Now, most of the refraction for the light rays entering the eye occurs at the outer surface of the cornea. So, the outer surface of the cornea is the refraction of the light. Mainly it is happening in the outer surface. Now, when we are moving inside, the crystalline lens merely provides the finer adjustment of the focal length required to focus the objects at the different distances on the retina. Okay, so what is happening? The cornea is allowing the light to enter. Then here this lens is there, which is doing the fine adjustments. So what are these fine adjustments? Just how you are zooming your camera, how you are zooming in and zooming out. So that is what is the function of the lens. So it is zooming the image formation in such a way so that a clear image is formed in this part of the retina. Okay, so retina is the light sensitive screen where the inverted image will be formed in this retina. Okay, so we find a structure called iris behind the cornea. So just behind the cornea you are finding this small structures called iris. So what is this? It is a muscular diaphragm like structure. You can see it is a muscular diaphragm like structure which controls the size of the pupil. So it is controlling the size of the pupil, right? So what is it doing? This iris is a structure which is controlling the size of the pupil. And what is this pupil doing? It is regulating and controlling the amount of light. Is it clear? So the pupil is regulating and controlling the amount of light. It's clear to us. So the amount of light which is entering the eye, that has been controlled by the pupil. Now what is happening? The eye lens forms an inverted real image of the object on the retina. So here it is an inverted image is formed on this retina. So suppose they are viewing an object like this. So an inverted image is formed in the retina as what we have studied in the lens. Okay, so the retina is a delicate membrane having enormous number of light sensitive cells. So retina is having a huge number of light sensitive cells which are forming the image which is inverted real image. Okay, so the light sensitive cells get activated upon the illumination and generate the electrical signals. Now these signals are sent to the brain via the optic nerve. So where this is formed, after that only there is an optic nerve. This optic nerve is sending the signal to brain. So finally the signal reaches to brain, and what is happening? When the signal is reaching to brain, the brain interprets these signals finally and processes the information so that we perceive the objects we are seeing. So you can just think how fast it happens when you are seeing an object. Suppose a bus is coming, a train is coming, you are seeing a flower. So once you are seeing, within a fraction of a second, the lens, the pupil will adjust the amount of light, the lens will do the fine adjustments of the object, and then you will have an inverted image on the retina. The retina through the optic nerve will send the impulses to the brain, and thus the processes of information that we perceive objects what they are. So this is a very we can say very fast process which is happening from the eye to the brain, and it is carried through the optic nerves. Okay, is it clear to all of you? Now we will move on to this power of accommodation. So what does this term mean, power of accommodation? So let's get started. So now we are here with the power of accommodation. So the eye lens is composed of a fibrous jelly-like material. So it is a material, it's soft, fibrous, jelly-like material. So its curvature can be modified to some extent by the ciliary muscles. So it can be stretched, it can be contracted. So we can say that the curvature can be modified. So the change in the curvature of the eye lens can thus change the focal length of its object, right? So what we are saying here, the change in the curvature of the eye lens can change the focal length. So this focal length change, how it is being done? So when the muscles, the ciliary muscles are relaxed, the lens, they are becoming thin. Okay, so thus the focal length is increasing. Okay, the first part is when the lens is becoming thin, the focal length is increasing. Okay, now in the next part, when this enables us to see the distant object clearly. So this is allowing us to see the distant object clearly. Now in the second case, when we are seeing the objects which are close by, so what will happen? The ciliary muscles, the ciliary muscles are relaxing in the first case when we are seeing the distant objects. But when we are seeing the nearby objects, the ciliary muscles, they contract. The ciliary muscles are contracting. So this contraction of ciliary muscles causes the lens to become bit thicker. So lens become thick. So as the lens becomes thick, the focal length of the eye decreases. So focal length of the eye will just decrease in that case, and this will enable us to see the nearby objects. So when the focal length is increasing, we are able to see the distant objects. When the focal length is decreasing, we are able to see the nearby objects. Okay. So this is what is the adjustment or accommodation. So the ability of the eye to adjust. So what is accommodation? It is the ability of the eye to adjust, or we can say that what it is adjusting to the focal length is called the accommodation. Is it clear to all of you? So what if your definition comes? First we have understood what is accommodation, that is the ciliary muscles are contracting, they are relaxing, which in turn is increasing the focal length in first case to see the distant objects and decreasing the focal length in the second case to see the nearby objects. And the ability of the eye lens to adjust the focal length is called accommodation. It's clear now. Now the focal length of the eye cannot be decreased below a minimum limit. There is a minimum limit beyond which we can't reduce the focal length. So try to read a printed page by holding it very close to your eye. You will not be able to read it. You will feel strain in the eyes. To see an object comfortably, it should be 25 centimeter from your eye. So it's the minimum focal length. Beyond that, you can't accommodate your lenses. So the minimum distance at which the objects can be seen most distinctly without strain is called the least distance of vision. So what is it called? It is called the least distance of vision, or it is called the near point of the eye. Okay, so beyond which you can see, but if you take your screen or if you take your book or your newspaper near to that, you will not be able to see. So a young adult with normal vision, the near point will be 25 centimeters. So please do remember the measurement. So if there is a question that what is the near point of the eye, or what is the least distance of distant vision, then you can write it is equal to 25 centimeter. Okay. And the farthest point up to which an eye can see the objects is clearly the far point. Okay, so it is the near point of vision, and the far point of vision, the objects can be clearly seen by the eye. Normal eye is the far point of vision. Now you may note that here a normal eye can see objects clearly in between 25 centimeter and infinity. So 25 centimeter to infinity, to a distance beyond and beyond, you can see the objects clearly. So sometimes the crystalline lens of people at old age, they become milky and cloudy. So what is that? This condition is called cataract. So they need to get it removed. This causes partial or complete loss of vision, and it is possible to restore vision by cataract surgery. So the lens is a soft crystalline structure. So at old age it becomes milky and cloudy after certain years and years of hard work. So eyes are also doing hard work, right? So if they are becoming milky, if they are becoming cloudy, you know that your grandparents at times they'll get the cataract surgery. So they try to restore the vision by doing a cataract surgery. So now we will discuss about the defects of vision and their correction today. Now we have come to this part, that is defects of vision and their correction. So you can see that most of us are wearing specs. So this means that the lens is not properly forming the images inside our eyes. So there are some problems. Some of us are having minus power as well as some of us are having plus power. So what does this mean with the plus power and the minus power? So we can find out that some of us, generally the elder generation people, they are unable to read books, newspapers and all. So they are unable to read the books. So they are having a reading glass or reading power, whereas you kids, you are having a power which is for the distance. So what is this? Let us focus on that. We should know that, right? Sometimes the eye may gradually lose its power of accommodation. So we told that what is accommodation? It is adjustment of the focal length which is done by the lens and the ciliary muscles. Is it clear? Now the person cannot see the objects distinctly and comfortably. The vision becomes blurred due to the refractive defects of the eye. So there are mainly three common refractive defects of vision. These are myopia, that is nearsightedness, hypermetropia, that is farsightedness, and presbyopia. So these are the three main defects. So one by one we will read what are these. So these defects can be corrected by the useful spherical lenses, and we discuss the defects and their correction. Now let us move down here. So what is myopia? Myopia is also known as the nearsightedness. A person with myopia can see the near objects clearly but unable to see the distant objects distinctly. So this is myopia or nearsightedness, because near objects he is able to see clearly, but distant objects is unable to see properly. A person with this defect has far point nearer than infinity. Such a person may see clearly up to a distance of few meters. In a myopic eye, the image distance object is formed in front of the retina. You can see this is the far point. It is able to see this point where it is being seen. This image is formed here. Okay, it should form here, but it is not forming here. So what is happening? This is the distance. This is the actual object. So here this object is this image is formed here, that is in front of the retina. So it's not the proper image which is formed. So what being is given? This defect is actually they are caused by the we can say excessive curvature of the eyeballs. Might be the eyeballs have become excess curved. So eyeballs curvature has increased, or the elongation of the eyeball. So two main factors are there: curvature of the eyeballs or elongation of the eyeballs. The defect can be corrected by using a concave lens. So you have studied concave lens in the previous lesson. So concave lens is used for correcting of this myopic eye, and the image is formed perfectly on the retina. Okay, so this is illustrated in this. Just please remember this diagram. It will make your learning process easier. And remember that this defect may arise due to excessive curvature of the eye lens and elongation of the eyeball as well. So once we are placing or wearing the convex lens, a suitable power will bring the image back to the retina, and thus the defect is corrected. So this is how this myopia is corrected. Now we will move on to hypermetropia, right? So now we move on to hypermetropia. So hypermetropia is also known as farsightedness. Here what happens? A person with hypermetropia can see the distant objects clearly, but they cannot see the near objects distinctly. So here what is happening? The near point for the person is farther away from the normal near point. So the normal near point should be here, but the person is seeing the normal object here, so it is farther away. So the reading material must be kept beyond 25 centimeters. So what they do, they generally put their newspaper far away, they put their books far away and try to focus that image formation, right? So what is happening? Because they are seeing the near point, which should be at 25 centimeter, they are seeing it near point far to that. Okay, so how it is happening this? Because the light rays from the close by object are focused at a point behind the retina. So it should be focusing, this image should be done here. It should be focused at this point, but it is forming here. The image formation is behind the retina. So as this is happening, the person, instead of seeing the near object here, he has to see the near object here. So he is taking his book away from the original 25 centimeter position. He is taking away that book to beyond the 25 centimeter and trying to focus that image. Okay, so this defect, why it is caused? This is caused because the focal length of the eye lens is too long. The focal length has become too long and the eyeball has become too small. The eyeball has become very small. Okay, so the eyeball might be, it has contracted and the focal length has become too long. So this defect can be corrected by using convex lens of appropriate power. So here we can use convex lens of appropriate power and we can just correct this problem. The eyeglasses with converging lenses provide the additional focusing power required for forming the image on the retina. It's clear. So this is the correction for the hypermetropic eye. So in this myopic eye, in myopia, they were using convex lens. The defect was caused due to the elongation of the eyeball, here the contraction of the eyeball, and the excess curvature of the eyeballs excess curvature of the lens could also cause this myopia. Now here in hypermetropia, we can see the focal length of the eye is too long and the eyeball has become too small. Okay, now we will move on to this presbyopia. So what is this? Now in presbyopia, the power of accommodation of the eye usually decreases with aging. For most people, the near point gradually recedes away and they find it difficult to see the nearby objects comfortably and distinctly without corrective eyeglasses, right? So this defect is called presbyopia. It arises due to the gradual weakening of the ciliary muscles and diminishing flexibility of the eye lens. Sometimes a person may suffer both myopia and hypermetropia. So when they are suffering both hypermetropia and myopia, so they are given bifocal lenses. So they are given bifocal lenses. So is it clear? We all know that your grandparents, parents, they are using bifocal lenses. Now we have started using progressive lenses. So this is a new kind of lens. Progressive lenses, you see, they'll show you progressive lenses which are doing the same thing only. The power here will be for the near vision and here will be for the far vision, but the gradually increase in power will happen and which will make your eyes to adjust quickly to the field. So these are the progressive lenses. A common type of bifocal lenses consists of both concave and convex lenses. The upper portion consists of concave lenses, whereas to facilitate the distant vision, so here you will get the distant vision and here you will get the near vision. Okay, so here you are getting the near vision and the upper part. So if this is the lens, the upper part will give you the distant vision and here it is giving you the near vision. Okay, so here it is the concave lens and here it is the convex lens. Is it clear? So it facilitates the near vision, and these days it is possible to correct the refractive defects with the contact lenses or through surgical interventions as well. So you can do surgery, you can do we can wear certain contact lenses. It's not like that you'll have to wear the specs always. If you're having any problem like that, you can go with contact lenses as well. So now let us move on to few questions and answers. We can just discuss it. We have already told it. What is meant by the power of accommodation? I have clearly discussed, and just write it in your answer book where you are writing all the answers. A person with a myopic eye cannot see the objects beyond 1.2 meter distinctly. So what should be the type of corrective lens? So we know that we have just now told that concave lenses with proper power should be given for proper vision. So what is far point and near point? We know that the minimum distance beyond which a person cannot see is 25 centimeter. It is the near point, and far point till infinity, up to which the farthest thing it can see is the far point. Now here fourth question is, a student has a difficulty in reading on the blackboard while sitting in the last row. So what could be the defect of the child suffering from and how can it be corrected? So these are all the answers you should be able to write, because I have made each and everything very clear for you. So please do answer these questions. It will be your homework part. And if you are having any queries, any doubts, please ask me in the comment box so that I can get back to you in the next class. So what we are going to study in the next class, we will study about this, think it over a little bit. Then we will move on to the refraction of light through a prism. We will read this full in the next class. We will study about dispersion of white light by a glass prism. We will study about this atmospheric refraction. We will study about twinkling of the stars. We will study scattering of light, Tyndall effect, and also why is the color of this clear sky blue. This all will come in the next class. So till then, you need to subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned, stay updated to learn more regarding this lesson, to complete this lesson, as well as to learn more many interesting topics as well as per your curriculum, and many other interesting topics. So stay tuned, stay updated with all the episodes, and please do share and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to write your comment in the comment box if you're having any queries, any doubts. Thank you. Thanks a lot for watching.